You clear your throat dozens of times a day. You wake up in the morning feeling like mucus is already sitting in the back of your throat. You keep swallowing, coughing, or trying to get rid of that annoying sensation. Yet no matter what you do, it always seems to come back. Many people over 55 assume this is simply what happens when you get older. Well, I guess this is just part of aging. But according to medical experts, that's not necessarily true. In fact, one of the biggest misconceptions about aging is that getting older automatically means your body starts producing endless amounts of mucus. The surprising reality is that in many cases, the mucus itself is not the real problem. What's happening behind the scenes may be far more important. And once you understand the real causes, you'll finally see why so many people spend years treating the wrong thing. Let's take a closer look. One of the first things doctors want people to understand is this. Growing older does not automatically mean your body suddenly starts producing excessive mucus. That's a common belief, but it isn't what research shows. What researchers have discovered is that aging can affect the body's natural ability to clear mucus. Inside your airways are tiny hair-like structures called cilia. You can think of them as tiny cleaning brushes. Their job is to move mucus, dust, bacteria, and other particles out of your airways. When you're younger, this system works remarkably well. Day after day, these microscopic cleaners help keep your breathing passages clear. But as we age, this cleaning process can become less efficient. The movement slows down. The clearing process becomes less effective. As a result, mucus may stay in the throat longer than it once did. And when mucus stays in one place longer, you become much more aware of it. This is why many adults over 55 feel like they have more mucus, even when their body isn't necessarily producing much more than before. The issue is often clearance, not production. That's an important distinction. Now let's talk about the most common cause. For many older adults, the mucus isn't actually coming from the throat at all. It's coming from the nose and sinuses. This condition is known as postnasal drip. Normally, your nose produces mucus every day. Most of the time, you never notice it. It quietly does its job by trapping dust, germs, and other particles. But when the amount increases or becomes thicker, it can begin draining down the back of the throat. That's when problems start. You may experience frequent throat clearing, a constant urge to swallow, a tickling sensation, a feeling that something is stuck in your throat, a cough that seems worse at night. Many people spend years focusing on their throat because that's where they feel the symptoms. But the real source of the problem may actually be several inches higher. The nose and sinuses are often the hidden culprits. And if the source isn't addressed, the cycle simply continues. As we get older, chronic sinus issues can become more common. The sinuses are hollow spaces inside the bones around your nose. Under normal circumstances, they produce mucus that drains properly. But when inflammation develops, drainage becomes more difficult. Mucus starts building up, pressure increases, and eventually that mucus begins dripping into the throat. Some people don't even realize they have ongoing sinus inflammation. They assume sinus problems should cause severe pain or obvious congestion, but that's not always the case. For some people, the main symptom is simply constant mucus in the throat. Others notice a stuffy nose, pressure around the eyes, morning congestion, a reduced sense of smell, or repeated throat clearing throughout the day. Because these symptoms often develop gradually, they can become so familiar that people stop questioning them. They simply assume it's part of aging. But often, it's a sign that the sinuses need attention. Now let's discuss one of the most overlooked causes: silent reflux. Most people associate acid reflux with heartburn. They imagine a burning sensation in the chest. But silent reflux doesn't always work that way. In fact, many people with silent reflux never experience traditional heartburn at all. Instead, stomach acid travels upward and irritates the throat and voice box. The body responds by trying to protect itself. One of those protective responses is increased mucus production. This can create symptoms such as persistent throat clearing, a hoarse voice, a chronic cough, a feeling that something is stuck in the throat, excess mucus that never seems to disappear. Because there is often no heartburn, people rarely suspect their stomach is involved. Some spend years treating allergies. Others blame weather changes. Some simply accept the symptoms as part of getting older. Meanwhile, silent reflux continues irritating the throat day after day. That's why understanding the possibility of silent reflux can be so important. Here's another factor that surprises many people. Sometimes the problem isn't too much mucus, it's too little moisture.
As we age, dry mouth becomes more common. Certain medications can contribute to this: blood pressure medications, antihistamines, some antidepressants, diuretics, and many others. When the mouth and throat become dry, mucus becomes thicker, stickier, harder to swallow, harder to clear. Imagine the difference between water and syrup. The thicker something becomes, the more noticeable it feels. Even a normal amount of mucus can suddenly feel overwhelming when it's thick and sticky. That's one reason many older adults constantly feel the need to clear their throat. The sensation can become incredibly frustrating, especially when it feels like nothing works. A lot of people assume allergies disappear with age, but that's not always true. Many older adults continue reacting to dust mites, mold, pet dander, pollen, environmental irritants. These triggers can cause the body to produce extra mucus. They can also contribute to postnasal drip. The challenge is that allergy symptoms don't always look dramatic. Sometimes they show up as constant throat clearing, mild congestion, a runny nose, or ongoing mucus in the throat. Because the symptoms are subtle, allergies can easily go unnoticed, yet they may be contributing to the problem every single day. Perhaps the biggest mistake people make is focusing only on the mucus itself. They buy cough drops, they sip warm tea throughout the day, they try over-the-counter products, they clear their throat over and over again, hoping the feeling will finally go away. And for a short time, some of these things may provide relief. But then the mucus returns, the throat feels irritated again, and the cycle starts all over. The reason this happens is simple. Mucus is often not the problem. It's a symptom. Think of it like a smoke alarm. When a smoke alarm goes off, most people don't blame the alarm. They look for the source of the smoke. The alarm is simply alerting them that something else is happening. Your body's mucus works in a similar way. In many cases, the mucus is actually doing its job. It is trying to protect sensitive tissues, it is trying to trap irritants, it is responding to inflammation, it is reacting to changes happening elsewhere in the body. The problem is that many people focus entirely on what they can feel, and what they feel is mucus. So naturally, they assume mucus must be the cause. But let's look at a few examples. If postnasal drip is causing the problem, the throat may simply be receiving mucus that is draining from the nose and sinuses all day long. No amount of throat clearing will stop that source. The mucus will just keep arriving. If chronic sinus inflammation is involved, the body may continue producing excess mucus because the inflammation itself remains active. Again, treating only the throat may provide temporary comfort, but it does not address what's happening inside the sinuses. If silent reflux is the real cause, stomach contents may be irritating the throat day after day. The throat responds by creating more protective mucus. In that situation, the mucus is actually a reaction to irritation. Removing the mucus without addressing the irritation often leads to frustration because the body simply produces more. And if dryness is contributing to the problem, constantly clearing the throat may actually make things worse. Each time you clear your throat forcefully, the tissues can become more irritated. That irritation can trigger even more throat clearing. Before long, a difficult cycle develops. The throat feels irritated. You clear your throat. The throat becomes more irritated. You clear it again. And the cycle repeats itself throughout the day. This is one reason many ear, nose, and throat specialists encourage patients to look beyond the mucus itself and consider what may be triggering it. Another reason people treat the wrong thing is that these conditions often develop very slowly. A cold appears suddenly. The flu appears suddenly. But postnasal drip, reflux, allergies, and age-related airway changes often develop over months or even years. Because the symptoms arrive gradually, many people adapt to them without realizing it. They may think, maybe this is just normal aging. Maybe everyone my age feels this way. Maybe there's nothing I can do about it. But that's not always true. While some age-related changes are normal, persistent mucus is often a sign that something specific is contributing to the problem, and understanding that possibility can be incredibly important. It shifts the question from, how do I get rid of this mucus, to why is my body producing or holding onto this mucus in the first place? That's a very different question, and it's often the question that leads to the most useful answers. Because once the underlying cause is identified, the entire situation begins to make more sense. Instead of fighting the symptom every day, you can begin understanding what's driving it. And for many people, that understanding becomes the first real step toward lasting relief. If you've been dealing with constant mucus in your throat after age 55, here's the most important thing to remember. It may not be happening simply because you're getting older. The real cause is often hidden beneath the surface. For many people, it's postnasal drip. For others, it's sinus inflammation. For some, it's silent reflux that doesn't feel like traditional heartburn. And in many cases, age-related changes in the body's natural cleaning system can make mucus much harder to clear. The good news is that understanding the cause is the first step toward finding the right approach. Because when you know what's really happening, you're no longer guessing. You're making informed decisions about your health. If any of these symptoms sound familiar, share your experience below. You may be surprised by how many others are dealing with the same issue. And if you enjoy straightforward health information designed for adults over 55, there are plenty more topics worth exploring together.